Hi there. Welcome to part 4 of How to Read Music. It's Mr. D. Hope you're having a great day today. So far, we've laid a good foundation in this series. We've talked about rhythm, we've talked about notes. Today, we're going to talk about putting some curtains on the windows. These are things that make your music sound better. It's not just notes, it's not just rhythm, but it's things like louds and softs that help us express emotion. So, we're going to talk about music terms and music symbols today. If you're a parent watching this, your student is going to see a lot of these in their music and may have a question about what some of these are. And if you're a student, you're going to see a lot of these in your music. So pay attention to what's coming up. The first thing that we talked about in our series was notes. And so we talked about how the notes on the page are laid out. These are good ways to remember them. Now, as you get more into advanced music, you are going to notice that there are notes that are not on the lines and spaces, and these are called ledger line notes. These are the notes that sit up here. They sit above the top of the treble clef, or maybe they're in the middle, or maybe they're in the lower part. So a quick way to recognize these beyond what you've learned with the ways to know these with the acronyms and that kind of thing is just to use your alphabet awareness to keep counting up higher. So we have F here, and then the next note that you would have would be G, and then it starts over and goes A, B, C. So the notes can keep going beyond the lines and spaces of the staff. And if they do that, just keep adding an alphabet name going up in the treble, and then it would actually reverse in the bass clef. G is here in the bass clef. It reverses and goes backwards in the alphabet: F, E, D, and C. Those are played on the piano down low: F, E, D, C. So as you get more advanced in your playing, you are going to have notes that are beyond the scope of just the staff. Those are notes that lie on the ledger lines. So use your ability to count with the alphabet and go up or down, count up for the treble clef and down for the bass clef. We're going to do a few quick flyby music symbols, just to, some of them will be refreshers and some will be new. This is called a treble clef, and you see this in the top of the music. This is played with your right hand, and it's called the treble clef, T-R-E-B-L-E. You'll also see this is called the bass clef, and that's the lower part of the piano. That's the lower part, played with the left hand, typically. If you see this in music, this is what we call a time signature. It's usually two numbers stacked on top of each other. This is the most common one. This is actually called common time. And this tells us how many beats are in each measure. So the top number here will tell us how many beats are in the measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you start over. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The bottom number tells us what type of note gets one beat. So in this case, the 4 stands for the quarter note. That's called a time signature. You can see a 3/4 time song would be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. That's 3 beats in every measure. The quarter note gets one of the beats. That's called a time signature. If you see this in music, this means to use a note that is directly above the one you're using. So if you were on C and you saw this, you would play the black key directly above it. And that's called a C sharp. It's played here and you go up to C sharp right there. Okay. It means to go up to the next note. If you think of something being sharp and you set on it and it was sharp, you would jump up. And so that's called a sharp. It looks like, in modern terms, we would call that a hashtag or a pound sign. And that's called a sharp in music. The opposite of the sharp in music is called the flat. It looks like a B, but it's pointy at the bottom. And that does the opposite. It makes a note go down. So if you were on B and you saw that symbol next to it, you would go down to B flat, directly to the left. And if you think of a flat tire, when you get that nail in the tire automatically starts going down. So flats go down, sharps go up. This is a sign called a natural sign, and it cancels out a sharp or a flat. So if you were playing a song and it had a flat in it, and then you saw that sign, it would mean to actually raise it and play a natural. Sharps, flats, and naturals. The next symbol that you see, and very common in music, this is the letter F, and it is actually short for the word forte. So in Italian, that actually means loud. And so when we want to play loud in music, we push our keys down stronger than we normally play, and that produces a forte or a loud sound. And we express loud a lot of times in movie soundtracks when something exciting is happening. There'll be something that's really loud and kind of builds to a moment, and that is called forte. The next one is the opposite. And ironically, in Italian, piano means soft. And we express this a lot when we're putting babies to sleep. Or when we're feeling sad. There's all types of times in music when you can use forte and piano to express emotion. There's other ones that are also like medium loud, medium soft, really loud, really soft. These two are the most common that you see, forte and piano. So if you want to know the basics, that's the two that you should know. If you see this symbol in music, this means to repeat a section. So you'll see this usually at the end of 8 bars or 8 measures. You'll see this. That means to go back and repeat the section that you were just in one time. It's 2 lines and 2 dots in front of it. 8VA means if you were playing a song here and you saw the symbol 8VA, you would actually move your hands 8 notes higher and you would play there. And so 8VA means to play 8 notes higher. This is a symbol called a fermata that just means that you hold something longer than the value of what's written. My boys are listening to Frozen right now. And there's a song that goes, for the first time in forever, at least I've got a chance. And that means it holds longer than it normally would in the music. And it gives it sort of this dramatic effect. That's called a fermata, and you'll see that over a note or underneath a note. An accent sign, I call this the motorcycle ramp because it looks like you're going off a ramp, and that just means to emphasize a note or accent a note, like. And those three were accented, they were stronger. If you see this, these are dots called staccato notes. They are dots that live above a note or underneath a note, and they make a note be very choppy. I tell my students to think of popcorn going off in the microwave, or to think of the piano being very hot and you cannot touch it. So that is called staccato. If you have any more questions about music terms, anything, I'm here to help you. So thanks for letting me be a part of your life as your teacher. I hope you have an awesome week. Thanks for being a part of this series, and I'll see you at your next lesson. Have a great week.